Hey everyone, and welcome to Already Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about Star Trek, the original series, Season 2, Episode 11. It's called Friday's Child. Full spoilers for the episode as always. Where to begin with this one? So, Kirk and Co. Kirk, Spock and McCoy, in a red shirt.
Yes, plus red shirt. That's important.
Yes, who lasts about 20 seconds.
I say important. It's important for about 20 seconds.
Yeah, beamed out to a planet because they're going to strike a deal. They're going to strike a deal for minerals and rocks. Is basically what they're going down for, and they're going to strike a deal. But when they go down, there's a Klingon. So we have a Klingon there, and they're also trying to strike a deal. So we've got these competing deals going on, and the tribes that are down there have very weird customs. They're very all about fighting and honor and all the rest of it.
But McCoy's clued up. So good.
Yeah, McCoy spent some time there before,
Yeah.
so he knows what's going on. He's like, yeah, Kirk, don't touch that fruit. If you touch that fruit, then her husband will have to fight you,
Yeah. McCoy knows his shit.
and that kind of thing. But of course, things naturally don't go particularly well. The leader of the tribes dies, and his pregnant wife becomes very important, and Kirk and Coke end up having to sort of protect her, and they go on the run with her while the Klingon and the rest of the tribes go hunting them, and there's some weird stuff with the baby, and McCoy somehow ends up being the surrogate father.
You say it like this, and it sounds like a mess.
It kind of is a mess.
It is, yeah. I was getting to that.
I was really worried you were going to say, but it's actually quite good. I was like, no, it wasn't.
No.
What are you talking about?
There's fun moments, but it's a mess.
It's fun moments, but ultimately I was zoning out something. This was mostly because I actually got a little bit excited when there was a Klingon. I was like, oh, Klingon episode. Oh, this is the only second one of these, and I thought, oh, nice. And then you've got Scotty's commanding the ship up in space.
That stuff's not bad.
And he's dealing with that. And there's a Klingon ship up there, sort of duping them and leading them on a little sort of ghost trail. But down on the ground, it's mostly people in really goofy looking costumes. Debating about their weird made up beliefs.
Basically, in this episode, I like McCoy.
Mm-hmm.
I like Scotty.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about it. And no. I really like the end scene. The banter scene.
Oh yeah, the end scene's fine, but that's just that can be fine in any episode.
It can.
It's
But
the
I
last
just wanted
30
to point out,
seconds.
I
So.
do like that.
You have McCoy slapping a woman in the face in this episode. A pregnant woman at that.
Yeah, it's one of those where it's kind of like, okay, he's not just slapping an Earth woman in the face. He's like, no, this is their custom. This is what she responds to.
Oh, yeah.
It seems like it's actually motivated for good reason.
She does respect it. Actually, it's the first thing that sort of gains her respect. So it is kind of part of their weird culture.
It feels like he knows what he's doing when he does that. He's not just slapping her for the sake of it.
It still looks weird though.
It does look weird. When he does it, I'm like, whoa, that was weird. And then the reaction happens. I'm like, okay, I get it. That was, he didn't just slap a woman for the sake of it. There was a point to it.
Well, it wasn't even for the sake of it anyway. She slaps him twice before he does.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's still weird. It's like, that's just slapping a woman in the face like that. But sure enough, she then respects him and will only let him touch her. They're very, very strict about who can touch them. They don't like being touched.
To be fair to their culture, it seems like they respect any show of strength based on, the whole fruit thing. They have to fight that person. It seems like if McCoy had, proven that he was stronger than any of them, that they would respect him. I don't think it's just specifically to the women.
Oh, sure.
I mean, that was the impression I got when I was watching it.
Here's the problem. You're describing their culture, and I'm zoning out again because I thought their culture was boring as shit.
I'm not disputing that. I'm just saying it follows its own rules.
Stupid big hat. They claim to have an average height of 7 foot, and I'm like, no, they're only 7 foot because they've got these stupid big hat things on that add an extra foot onto their height.
Foot and a half.
Stupid. I like that. This was a lot of debating. See when they're in their tent, because the first half they're on tents. They're in these tents, and it looks goofy. And I wasn't actually sure if it looked more goofy or less goofy when it was all just out in the desert or out in the sort of the rocky. I don't know. It almost feels like seeing those stupid costumes surrounded by a real location almost
Oh, okay. You meant the costume specific. Okay, I'm with
yeah,
you.
almost accented how ridiculous they looked. Yes, obviously the surrounding looked better because it was a real
Yeah.
place.
That's what I was defending.
Yeah, and then you have Kirk and Spock holding them off with makeshift bows and arrows.
Because they've never seen a bow and arrow before. So they'll be surprised. Yeah, I don't know. Can I say one good thing about this
Oh,
episode?
go on then, go on.
It had potentially the best "I'm not a doctor." No, I'm a doctor thing.
Yeah,
I'm a doctor, not an escalator. Fantastic.
it's all right.
It's pretty good.
They didn't even have escalators in the future. Like, they just beam everywhere.
I,
That's
I know. That's what makes it great. It's McCoy being a cranky old person.
Now, to be fair, I actually do recall an escalator in Star Trek: The Motion Picture, for the record.
I have not seen that, so I will defer to your knowledge on this one.
Well, that was one of the things. At least, I mean, I've not seen season 3 of the original show, but one of the big things when I first watched the movie was that you actually see stuff back in Earth, which you never do in the show.
Yeah, as of right now, definitely
Yeah.
not.
And I remember thinking that was really cool. But
Okay.
when they're all called back into action because they've been, because even when the time when the movie came out, it had been like
A
12,
while.
13 years since the last season of the show. So, but aye, so what else to talk about? Because I really didn't like this episode that much.
I'm trying to think of positives. It was mostly just any positives I have come from interactions between Kirk, Spock, and McCoy.
Yeah, your staples. Your
But
thing.
yeah, like when it's Kirk and Spock, and he's like, oh, maybe we could use the phasers to create like a sonic, whatever it was. And Spock's like, well, I mean, the chances are low. And Kirk pushes him a little bit. It's like, oh, so you don't think it'll work? He's like, I didn't say that.
To be fair, that Sonic thing where they actually or they blow up like the rocks and like they have like a rock slide happens.
Yeah,
It's actually kind of brutal by Star Trek standards.
it is. It is.
It's like killing multiple people, and I'm like, man, this is dark. Like, calm
But
down,
then,
Kirk.
but then the very next minute, like after that, he does the same thing with McCoy, where McCoy's like, oh, their anatomy is pretty different. I'm not so sure. And Kirk's like, so you can't do it then? It's like, well, I didn't say that. Come on. I think it's amusing that Kirk can push their buttons in exactly the same way. He's just like, all the crew just responds to him going, so you say you can't do this.
When the pregnant woman started referring to her child as McCoy's child, and like Spock's reaction to that, and then Scotty's reaction to hearing that later on in the episode, those were the fun little moments.
Yeah.
The actual plot, though, I didn't like the not the original head of the tribes, but the new head. Once the first guy
They're
dies.
called Tiaz? Tiaz?
Tiers is their sort of title, but
Yeah.
his name was like Mar or something. No, Mab. That was it. Mab.
Marb, yeah.
He was just like a nothing character. Like I got nothing from him
I
whatsoever.
kind of forgot it existed.
Yeah, and he's quite a big part of this episode. He ends up. He actually steps out. The Klingon gets a phaser. One of the Starfleet phasers towards the end of the episode, and Mab goes out and like sacrifices himself so that the pregnant woman can now be the leader because her son's destined to grow up to be a new.
Yeah, like that
Tia.
should be a really big moment, but it kind of felt like, okay, he's gone.
Yeah, he just walks out and gets phased and disintegrates.
To be fair, it was nice seeing a dagger into a Klingon's chest when they throw it.
Yeah, it was okay. That's also actually what happens to the red shirt, funnily enough.
It was, yeah. I think I just like seeing daggers thrown into people. That's fun.
Sure.
Well, something you don't see very often.
I won't. I won't complain. Yeah, the stuff in the Enterprise is just kind of they get a distress call for this freighter. A freighter called Deirdre, by the way, which is not what I would name a ship ever. Deirdre.
I mean, maybe it was a very old ship.
The Deirdre. It's a freighter,
It's such an old woman's name anyway, so maybe it was just an old ship.
but it's not actually real. It's just a fake distress call planted with the Klingons to lure the Enterprise away from the planet. But Scotty's on to them. They figure things out.
Yeah. This is it. Like, this is not anything impressive, but I like seeing Scotty as acting captain. I think it's fun. And when they're like, "Well, this is a real ship. What if it's real?" And he's like going, "No, I'll take responsibility. It's on me. I'm not calling this bullshit."
Yeah, because everyone else is kind of like, whoever's like, yeah, but what about the captain? We're not really supposed to engage, blah, blah, blah. But he's like, no, it's a distress call. If people need help, this is our duty. We should do this. But hey, oh, actually, one thing I do want to point out is when they actually go in red alert at one point, they think, okay, there's going to be a Klingon ship attacking. And he goes in red alert, sirens are blaring. We get this really sort of different shot of Sulu as they're readying for battle, and it's clearly to show off the big red alert sign that's flashing up in the wall. But one thing I noticed that towards the end of this shot, we've seen him use this before, but we've never seen it enter the scene like this way. It's like the his eye reader sort of thing that he looks into for combat. It actually has like a mechanical arm. It actually comes up past the desk and then sort of goes like that. And I'm just like, oh man, they spent a little bit of time giving this a little bit of a
nice little effect.
But don't get me wrong, I'm sure there's someone crouched down beneath the desk actually.
But they put the effort into making it an effect rather than just cutting away from it like usual.
Yeah, at the very least, the top of it was mechanically moving down, or at least there was like a string being pulled or something, because it did actually move on its own.
It counts.
But I was like, oh, that's a little sort of robot arm coming up to give him his little reader thing.
Yeah, I liked Scotty being quite annoyed at Sulu when Sulu was like, hey, a freighter can only travel at warp 2. And Scotty's like, I'm an engineer. I know what speed a freighter can travel at. Shut up.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't have a whole lot to say, but I was just kind of bored throughout most of this. I was not into the costumes, the core debate where the Klingons and the Enterprise crew are just debating over minerals, and then it turns into their weird culture. I don't know.
No, I didn't like either. Like I said, everything I've said so far that I liked has been just character banter, basically.
Yeah, and the odd little stupid moment, perhaps, that...
Sure, but those are to be expected.
Yeah.
God.
The weekend... do you know what's funny? Like, we had such a good episode last week, but we had a mediocre one before that. I feel like we're in a pattern here of good, bad, good, bad, good, bad.
Yeah. I think this was better than the one before last, though. In the sense that at least this had some character banter. I don't think the one before did.
What was the one before last? Remind me.
Exactly.
But still, remind me. I want to know.
Metamorphosis was the cloud.
Oh, no, that was better than this, because that gave us some interesting Star Trek history, at least.
I mean, it did, but...
Well, under it, Zephyr Cochrane and that stuff. I mean, yeah, the episode was weak overall, but it gave us something to chew on.
That's the same thing, though. It was interesting from a lore perspective, but I don't think it was good as an episode. Whereas this one wasn't good as an episode, but it had some good banter and character moments, which I think while watching, I enjoyed more, even though that had better ramifications long term.
Sure, but like I feel like we get that so often anyway that I feel like comparing the two head to head, I feel like I'll take the one that actually gives me some interesting lore to chew on more than... Because I mean, as much as there's some good banter in here, it's not the best that Star Trek's had. It's not like we've not had better McCoy and Spock moments and stuff. So no, I think overall I'm pretty down in this episode. Friday's Child,
not great.
You know, I really want to make a dark joke, but I'm not going to.
I'll stand by the end scene being great, though. Like that's one of the better end scenes, I think.
What, Spock being all, you two are all high and mighty, you're all being all cocky.
Yeah, you're going to be insufferable for a month
because she named the child after the two of you. Yeah.
Yes. It was just like, because it was called Leonard James. It was just McCoy going, "So James, what do you think?" He's like, "Well, yes, Leonard." Don't know. Just you never hear him using the first names like that, and it cracked me up.
All right, I think we're done. I don't think we have much more to add for this one.
I don't think we can possibly squeeze any more out of this bollocks.
Nah, not a great episode. So hopefully next week's is more fruitful. Let us know what you think of it in the comments below. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Get us on Twitter at mild_fuzz for channel updates. If you want to support the channel, head over to patreon.com/mileoffuzztv. You can do that over there. For $1, you get these Star Trek reviews a week early, so you can do that. But otherwise, that is us. So thank you once again for watching. Keep watching Star Trek, TV shows, I panic for a second. I'm like,
I don't know what happened there.
what am I saying? That's us, guys. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.